故郷で続く長きにわたる争いを止め、平和がもたらされると解釈している。
What the fuck?
Go Rush is here, and I am hyped as can be to experience this new world, with more or less the same core staff as Sevens. I've already said it before and I'll say it again, it's best not to expect a huge leap in quality with Go Rush, as it'll pretty much be more or less the same animation-wise. Though I am expecting the staff rotation to be shuffled around a bit as some of the Shaman King staff joins in. Going through the staff storyboarding this week, we have Nobuhiro Kondo with Masato Miyoshi as the episode director, while Kazuto Tadano serves as the solo chief animation supervisor. Coming into this episode, I wasn't really expecting to be blown away, especially once the preview for the first episode dropped a while ago. This was an otherwise pretty standard Miyoshi episode that was honestly a tad unremarkable visually, with a very standard storyboard and no clever or interesting direction to help elevate it. Instead, the episode is carried by the characters and their interaction, thanks to Toshimitsu Takeuchi's witty writing. It's honestly really sad when the series premiere is beaten out by Sevens' Season 2 premiere, which comparatively had a much stronger board and direction. Honestly, it just feels that the episode could and should have been stronger had it been given a stronger director. Before going on to the animation side of things, there are a few interesting changes to the staff that I'd like to mention. Much like the character designs, the show's art direction has also gone through an interesting change, thanks to the new art director, Takashi Nishimura, now using a solid color palette with simple forms and shapes drawn with a sort of purplish brown outline, ditching the usual realistic approach with backgrounds that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is used to. The show looks like it's straight out of a children's storybook, which I think honestly suits it given the tone of the show. Moving on to the supervisors, Kazuto Tadano is solo supervising this episode without her partner in crime, Hiromi Matsushita, which really isn't surprising considering Matsushita did a massive chunk of corrections with Sevens' finale, and will most likely be supervising the opening of the show, as their corrections and key animation is very much present in the ending. With Tadano alone this time, it does now provide a clearer idea of how Tadano's style looks like compared to Matsushita. The differences in approach isn't too massive honestly, with Matsushita being a lot more angular with lanky bodies, big eyes, and very defined silhouettes, whereas Tadano's drawings are a bit subtle with similar qualities, yet less exaggerated. Sadly, there's not a lot to talk about animation-wise, despite the very large key animated list. There is a very brief cut at the end of the episode as Udius destroys the telephone. It has some insanely well-drawn smoke effects, which I initially thought it belonged to Genichi Takaze, as it has some very similar shapes and shading. But he isn't credited, which makes me think he might have gone uncredited, as it wouldn't really be the first time. There have been some instances during Sevens where he's actually provided some key animation uncredited. Lastly, just a brief mention about the designs. Now seeing the characters in motion, I am honestly starting to warm up to the designs. I do think Tadano did a pretty good job trying to marry old Yu-Gi-Oh! With her own design sensibilities. The large line count is a little annoying, but honestly I can get over it. Next week looks to be the first outsourced episode with Hatsue Nakayama supervising. I won't really be covering this episode as I'm kind of a little bit busy, but I will try to tweet about it. So look forward to that. And so with that, see you in the next video.
愛続く